The third and final Navy SEAL accused of punching a suspected terrorist goes on trial today in Norfolk, Virginia. Matthew McCabe facing court-martial in a case that has sparked outrage across the country. McCabe is accused of hitting an alleged terrorist in his custody. That terrorist is suspected of plotting the brutal murders of 4 American contractors in Fallujah, Iraq back in 2004. 2 other SEALs have been acquitted. Joining us now, Tom Caniff, a former JAG officer and criminal defense attorney. Let's talk for a moment about what's at stake right now. 2 of the other officers have been acquitted, and we are facing a situation here where the third must appear in this court-martial at a time when people are so outraged that these charges have been brought against him, knowing that the person who is leveling the charges is the mastermind behind this brutal attack against those murdered victims. You know, it just boggles the mind.
Yeah, you know, it's very mind-boggling. It's interesting to keep in mind that the way this case really got to this point is these 3 individuals, these 3 heroes, were offered sort of the military version of, you know, administrative punishment, something called an admiral's mast in Article 15. And that looks something akin to what, you know, a police officer or a school teacher who's accused of misconduct might face internally. The potential punishments are much lesser. They're not looking at a criminal conviction, maybe some restricted duty and reduction in pay. What they said was, no, you know, we're not taking the easy way out. We're innocent of these charges, and we're going to make the brave decision.
Right,
and you know, damn the torpedoes. Right, we'll take this to trial and we'll deal with whatever the outcome may be. That's an extremely courageous decision. It says a lot about these guys.
And of course, all of this was against the backdrop of Abu Ghraib, when people were really concerned about whether or not abuse was taking place with people who were being held in custody.
Absolutely, and that's why I think the government doesn't really want to be where they are right now. But these individuals, these SEALs, painted them in a corner because they said, hey, you know, we're not going to go out nice and quietly and take this administrative punishment and sort of cop to something that we didn't do. You want to prove us guilty, take us to a courts-martial. And at that point, again, the government sort of painted in a corner. What do we do with this case? And, you know, frankly, I'm surprised at this point no one has stepped in, Secretary Gates, the president.
That's what really surprises me, too. We haven't heard from any high-level officials to intervene at this point, knowing the facts as they are.
Right, and I think one of the defense tactics in this case has been to keep this case in the media. And, you know, when you look at the motion that was served the other day, arguing this unlawful command influence and basically citing, you know, remarks that were made on the Geraldo program, on the O'Reilly program, obviously very prolific, high-rated programs.
Right.
You know, I think it's another attempt by the defense, and a good one, to kind of keep this in the light, keep the government on the defensive as to why they're bringing this case in the first place.
Really quickly, just a couple seconds, do you think he's going to be acquitted very soon?
I do. We got to remember the first 2 SEALs were acquitted. This is a jury trial, but the jury is made up of members of the military, other officers, and you have to think that they are not going to be sympathetic, you know, to this terrorist thug, who in this case is really the star witness for the government, which is
it's just amazing.
Very disturbing to think that this guy is going to come in potentially in this courts-martial as a witness for the people of the United States when you look at those pictures from Fallujah.
Well, we wish him all the best, of course. I mean, as you point out, he is a hero, as are the 2 other guys that were involved with this, too.
Absolutely.
So it's so great to see you. Thank you for your insights. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.